Benny Andersson, the heart and soul behind ABBA's iconic sound, was never the one who sought the spotlight, yet his musical genius shaped an entire generation. Born on December 16, 1946, in Stockholm, Benny was introduced to music at a very young age. With his father's engineering background and his grandfather's self-taught musical skills, Benny learned to play the accordion by ear. His talent was innate, and by the time he was 10, he was already playing for family gatherings. Unlike many of his peers, Benny was less interested in fame and more focused on understanding the mechanics of music. His sensitivity to tone and emotion became his unique gift, something that would later define ABBA's sound, blending bright melodies with emotional depth. Even before ABBA's rise to fame, Benny had begun to build a foundation for what would become pop music's most enduring legacy. From rock band to musical mastermind, Benny's musical journey took a significant turn in 1964 when he joined the Swedish rock band, the Hep Stars, often referred to as the Swedish Beatles. At just 18, Benny's arrival marked the band's evolution from local favorites to chart toppers in Sweden. Hits like Sunny Girl and Wedding, penned by Benny himself, showcased his knack for melody and harmony. His musical expertise didn't stop with writing. He also excelled in studio arrangements and live performances, quickly becoming known as the band's musical brain. During this period, Benny's keen understanding of both the creative and commercial sides of the music industry began to take shape. He wasn't driven by the spotlight, but rather by a genuine passion for creating music that resonated with people on a deep emotional level. The birth of ABBA, musical alchemy. In the early 1970s, Benny's partnership with Björn Ulvaeus, a fellow musician, and their collaboration with two talented singers, Agnetha Fältskog and Annie Frid Lyngstad, laid the groundwork for ABBA's formation. Initially known as Benny, Björn, Agnetha, and Annie Frid, BBA, the band adopted the more iconic name ABBA after their breakthrough victory at the 1974 Eurovision Song Contest with the song Waterloo. This marked the start of their meteoric rise to global stardom. As ABBA's sonic architect, Benny's role was crucial. He meticulously layered instruments and harmonies, introducing innovative elements such as synthesizers long before they became mainstream. His perfectionism in the studio and his insistence on creating timeless music rather than following trends became the hallmark of ABBA's sound. Crafting songs with emotional depth. Despite the glamour surrounding ABBA's two frontwomen, it was Benny who built the emotional core of their music. Songs like Knowing Me, Knowing You, and Fernando carried a subtle duality, bright melodies with an underlying sense of melancholy. Benny's sensitivity to emotional depth, combined with his perfectionist tendencies, created a sound that was both accessible and emotionally complex. He was known for taking hours, sometimes days, to perfect a single harmony, ensuring that each song conveyed the right emotional tone. Benny's skill wasn't just about making music sound good, it was about making it feel real. He crafted songs that resonated with people's deepest emotions, even if they didn't always understand why. It was this blend of joy and sadness that gave ABBA's music its timeless quality. The final album, The Visitors. The release of The Visitors in 1981 marked the beginning of the end for ABBA. While the album retained the band's signature sound, there was an undeniable sense of melancholy in the music. Songs like One of Us and Slipping Through My Fingers were steeped in emotional weight, reflecting the internal turmoil of the band members. The spark that had once defined ABBA's music was starting to fade, and by 1982, their last official single, Under Attack, failed to make the same impact as their earlier hits. ABBA quietly ceased to exist, with no final tour or dramatic breakup announcement. The silence surrounding their disappearance left fans with countless questions, but for years, none of the members offered a clear explanation. That is, until Benny finally spoke out in 2024. Benny's Truth: The End of ABBA Explained. In a groundbreaking interview with The Guardian in November 2024, Benny Andersson finally revealed the truth behind ABBA's breakup. He admitted that the band had simply reached the end of its emotional and creative tether. "We were exhausted," he confessed. The constant pressure to perform, coupled with personal upheavals, left them drained. "We couldn't go on pretending," Benny explained. This candid admission clarified what fans had long suspected. The end of ABBA wasn't caused by betrayal or creative differences, but by the emotional depletion of the band members. It wasn't a dramatic collapse, but a quiet and inevitable unraveling. For fans, Benny's honesty brought much-needed closure to a long-running mystery. The Visitors: A Reflection of Emotional Collapse. The songs on The Visitors were deeply introspective, with lyrics and melodies that felt different from the band's earlier work. Tracks like When All Is Said and Done and The Day Before You Came conveyed a sense of sadness and resignation that reflected the band's emotional state during the final years of their career. Benny acknowledged that the band's last 2 years had been uninspired, with songwriting becoming more of a routine than a passionate collaboration. Despite this, he didn't frame ABBA's end as a failure. Instead, he viewed it as a natural conclusion to a chapter that had run its course. The final album and the songs it contained were not failures, but poignant reminders of the emotional strain that had been building behind the scenes. Frida's journey through grief and royalty. After ABBA's breakup, Annie Fried Lyngstad, Frida, took an unexpected path, marrying Prince Heinrich Rudzow of Plauen in 1992 and becoming a member of European royalty. The contrast between her former pop star life and her new royal duties was stark, but it wasn't the fairy tale it seemed. Frida struggled with the rigid expectations of aristocratic life, and her world was further shattered in 1998 when her daughter, Anne Lees, tragically died in a car accident. The loss was overwhelming, and Frida retreated from the public eye, finding solace in quiet solitude. During this difficult time, Benny reached out to her, offering a rare moment of connection between two people who had lived through the collapse of ABBA together. Their shared history provided comfort in the face of personal tragedy, and Frida found peace in their quiet reconnection. ABBA's unlikely reunion: a digital revolution. In 2018, after decades apart, ABBA reunited to record 2 new songs, shocking the music world. But it wasn't just the new music that turned heads, it was the innovative performance model they adopted. The group chose not to go on a traditional tour, but instead created ABBA Voyage, a digital concert experience using motion capture and avatar technology. Benny took complete control of the production, ensuring that the performance was both technically flawless and emotionally true to ABBA's original sound. The show was an unprecedented success, selling over 1.3 million tickets and attracting fans from over 140 countries. ABBA had redefined live performance, choosing to perform on their terms and proving that their music had transcended the physical limitations of time and age. Benny's legacy. Finally speaking the truth. At 78, Benny Andersson has begun to unravel the emotional walls he spent decades building. In recent interviews, he has admitted that music was his way of dealing with pain, something he never knew how to express directly. "I gave my best lines to songs, not to the people who needed to hear them from me," he said. This simple yet profound statement reveals the depth of Benny's emotional restraint. He wasn't cold or indifferent. He was scared to confront his feelings head-on. His silence in his personal life, however, became the quiet force that ultimately caused ABBA's unraveling. But through his honesty, Benny has offered fans the closure they never knew they needed, revealing that the music wasn't just a way to escape, it was a way to survive.